Good evening, everybody. We got here a 1v1 on Arabia. Just going to speed it up as we get started. And we do have in the blue MbL playing as the Italians. And then his enemy to the south of the map is going to be Miguel playing as the Mayans. So, not sure if they went with random Civ picks on this one, because the Italian pick is a little bit surprising for an Arabia map, but we'll see exactly how MbL does play it out. They do have some advantages, as you can see here. So, of course, advancing to the next age is going to be a big one. However, most of the other ones are not going to be super helpful. Definitely the naval advantages aren't going to help out too much, but you never know. It is the MbL after all, so he could be pulling something out that surprises us all. At this point in time, they are just scouting around with one another, and we do see some wall-offs already starting, and actually going to see a drush. So, interesting move. Get a drush, get a little bit ahead if possible, and that drush has already been spotted by Miguel, the Mayan player. Of course, that will be a big deal, because it will mean that there won't be any surprises coming up on the wood line here, or even on the gold later on. Map-wise, not too bad for little wall ins for Miguel. Probably could see just a wall, use this gold, and a few small walls, a little bit open on the front, and he does not have too much gold in the back, just this one gold in the back, but that is going to be safe for now. And then when we're talking about the openness of the map of the enemy, that is a really open side there. The wall off already starting here. We can probably see just a little quick wall here and here, and then have a pretty safe back. But this right side is going to be huge as we go forward. And the militia just standing around right now, as you can see. A lot later to the next age is MbL, and that is because he's going to be going for a drush, and then what I would only assume as a fast castle. But that does leave him very vulnerable against the Mayans in particular, just because they're so strong with their archers early in the game, because the archers are just that much cheaper. But these militia, you know, wasting some time for the enemy, but nothing too major, as Miguel has already started to wall off the gold piles. He knows the militia are attacking these houses. He's not too concerned about that at this point in time, as he is in the next age, and will likely see an archery range dropped off pretty quick here. He does have the wood for one. There we go. That's the archery range there. And his Eagle Scout still scouting around. Might be able to pick off this villager. I don't believe it's going to be necessarily worth it. No, he decides against it. Runs away instead. And the archer range is already going up. 2 villagers there. And when we take a quick look at the vill count, so MbL does have a big villager advantage, but that's because he still has not clicked up to the next age. We already see spearmen out. We already have archers on the way. And you're not yet in the next age, well, the only solution, wall. That is a very ambitious walling plan. Sending 4 villagers just to this one side, and that's not including the villager time on this other side either. The militia looking to get some distractions, looking to pick something off, but 1 or 2 archers coming out, and that will be able to get rid of those militia. Really, the militia right here are to distract the enemy army as much as possible. Doesn't care if he loses these militia if he can get the walls up. He's already on the way up to the next age now. 20% there. He's got farms going. He will be collecting up resources, but so much wood having to go into this ambitious walling plan. And just lots of villager wasted time, and lots of time spent back and forth. These militia will now be able to get picked off by this archer, and we see the army of Miguel moving forward against MbL. So again, MbL, no army other than these 3 militia right now, because really nothing that he makes is going to be worth any value in the next age. And this archer, like, just the power of one archer against militia is so strong. Brings another forward, and these militia are gone. Already fletching in for Miguel, and MbL is about to hit the next age. Interesting to see what he goes for, because he actually doesn't have the resources for a fast castle. Because of his ambitious walling, he was not able to get up to the fast castle. He will decide to repair that wall behind. Does lose some HP on his villagers, but he shouldn't die there. He'll be able to get away just fine with 4 HP left. Archery range will make it up now, but there is a large army on his doorstep just waiting to attack. For MbL, though, I'm not sure what his plan is. Obviously, he's looking to go to the next age very quickly here. But he still needs quite a bit of food. He is deciding to just idle his TC. He wants that castle age. He wants that advantage. He's going to go with a couple skirmishers to just fend off the attacks for now, as we see multiple archers forward. And the militia is still maybe hopeful. Pick something off, get a couple free hits, waste some time if possible. And the skirmishers still don't have fletching, so they will be outranged by the archers and also outgunned just overall. So this skirmisher will go down to this many archers. We'll need a few more skirmishers, and we'll need fletching, and fletching is on the way in. Castle H not too far away at this point in time, and this militia even being pushed off by just villagers right now. So that Drush has done what he wants. These skirmishers have done what he wants, and so far all MbL has wanted is just peace at home. So he is going to hit the castle age much faster than the enemy, but it's not going to be a massive advantage because Miguel is also on the way up. These 2 Eagle Scouts will be able to engage against the skirmishers, and that house is going to go down right here. Oh, sorry, 1 Eagle Scout, 1 Spearman, so that will be a little bit harder to engage. But the army is now in MbL's base. This huge, massive wall that he has on this side wasn't actually needed all that much, all things considered. And immediately we see absolutely nothing from MbL. I'm not sure what his gameplay is in this game. I think it just hasn't worked out as of yet. He doesn't have the resources to be making much other than a knight. So deciding to go for a knight right now. He will be going forward with that knight because he can clean up this army pretty easily with the skirmishers in the back of his base. And that Eagle Scout will go down to the town center fire right there. Skirmishers able to pick off these archers, and back at home, Miguel knows something is up, so he is going to keep archer production going, and he's also making another eagle just to make sure that he can feel protected, as this first knight is on his way in, and honestly, that knight can pick off quite a bit at this point in time. Look at the damage that is being done on each villager that he hits. Every hit he gets, that's a big advantage, and that knight's just going to run around for now. So we see a second knight and some skirmishers coming out. And the economy, you know, getting quite threatened by Miguel. He does have some wall-offs, which are very, very helpful. And he also has these archers still causing distraction in the back. Now crossbows, so actually these 2 crossbows with the proper micro would be able to engage against the archers and skirmisher, but not really a priority when you have knights picking off villagers in the back of your base. Miguel still has the villager lead, but we'll see how long that lasts to see if we can drop any more town centers as we continue on. Knights, of course, so strong in early Castle Age, just able to destroy any Feudal Age army that might be sitting around. But these crossbows are starting to get to a pretty high number, as we see 12 crossbows. We do have upgrades in for them. So they've got 5+2 range. And suddenly 1 or 2 knights is not going to be able to engage against that army. So the switch is going back to the archer line in skirmishers. Now Miguel here, he has a little bit of breathing space. He's going to look to wall up, build up his economy, make stuff a little bit more balanced, and he's doing a great job at that so far. And when we look at MbL, he is just continuing to produce skirmishers, still not elite skirmishers at this point in time, so they will be outranged by the crossbows by quite a significant amount. But with a few knights in front, that would be okay. And we now see elite skirmisher and bodkin coming in, so they will be fairly evenly matched when it comes to range as well as attack. And we will be seeing a really big advantage for the skirmishers. And just waiting for that elite skirmisher to come in. Elite is in. Ballistics is on the way. And great micro here from Miguel, as this is really where the battle is going to have to play out. And this is exactly where Miguel wants the battle to be. Disrupting the economy, pushing the army back as well. Skirmishers, the natural counter to any crossbow army, but caught out a little bit just because the economy is right here. Villagers could get picked off as well. But look how many shots it takes to take out just one skirmisher. You can almost rebuild as quickly as you're losing them. He does lose a villager, and Miguel with a 6 villager lead now. Of course, remember, MbL did choose to let his TC go idle for a little bit of time, and more villagers being picked off by these knights. Almost gets that other pick off, not quite yet though. And these 6 crossbows, now 5, soon to be 3, will be able to pick off a villager. There we go, and try and get another shot, maybe be able to pick off this last one, and just not able to as well. So both of them lucking out a little bit there, as we see low HP villagers from both players, and a town center now in the back of MbL's base. That will give him a little bit of an edge, but not quite enough, because there's already a town center down and a third one dropped for Miguel. So Miguel will be going for big economic leads here and trying to get ahead wherever possible. MbL with this second town center, he does probably know at this point in time that he is behind. He needs to keep up somehow, and so he's going to be producing villagers out of 2 different buildings, as he is 11 villagers behind right now, and that will only continue to climb as he has the disadvantage when it comes to town centers. One thing to note, that Miguel does not quite have. Now he does. He has the farm capacity to continue villager production out of all of his town centers, so now he is good to go, continuing villager production, and especially with the fact that he's going to be making scorpions, siege equipment, and crossbows. All of the food that he does collect is going only to creating new villagers. And this big crossbow army of 15 can break through a palisade no problem, especially because this palisade is not closed off. So the skirmishers will be looking to pick off villagers, and skirmishers picking off villagers, never a good situation, but difficult to engage against multiple scorpions at this point in time. This knight will have to be utilized to take out the scorpions whenever possible. And immediately going to repair. That knight will fall, but it takes out 1 scorpion and takes out a villager too, so might be worthwhile, as the crossbows for Miguel are in the back of the base. We do see armies from both sides going to the back, and this scorpion more than happy to take shots from a few skirmishers, as long as it can get a few shots back, because these are all very weak skirms at this point in time. Miguel not able to quite engage yet, a little bit nervous to go into the enemy's base. He knows there's a town center there, and he knows that he cannot be engaging underneath that town center at this point in time, as the armies are starting to mass up to a level. Very, very weak skirmishers, so we could be seeing quite a few of these falling really quick. As a castle is going up on this hill, that is a good hill, a little bit protected on the front, not necessarily the path that players will be going down, but with the Scorpion they should be able to get a few of these skirmishers off the hill, especially as mentioned before, how weak the skirmishers are already, and now a mangonel coming up as well. But the villagers have to be cautious at this point in time, as there is a large number of crossbows coming up, and the actual army advantage is for MbL. So he will need to dodge a few of these mangonel shots and hold the hill, but one shot does land. Might be able to get another shot. This knight coming in just at the sake of just in time, and the mangonel will be repaired. The knight will actually not be able to engage against that many crossbows, but now there's no crossbows to protect the mangonel. There's another knight out, and this castle cannot go up. So what is the move for Miguel? He's deleted that castle. He's going to build it in a very, very safe location right next to his third town center, and he's going to basically guarantee that that castle makes it up. He wants to have a castle up. He wants to have that protection of his economy. He saw that MbL is going to be trying to engage, trying to be an aggressive player, and he knows that it's necessary. MbL still on 2 town centers as he loops another army of crossbows onto this side, as a second castle is being dropped on that side of the map, but that castle actually might be fully denied by this group of 12 crossbows. Doesn't quite see the castle yet. If he can engage against the castle at this point in time, he can completely deny it, and there we see it. He sees the villagers running away. He goes right into the minimum range of the Scorpion, takes the Scorpion out, and a mangonel actually sneaking in between the castles, as Miguel once again has to delete a castle foundation. MbL doing a great job to just maneuver, maintain map control at this point in time. He knows he can't go into the range of the castle at this point in time, and so he is just looping around, picking off villagers, picking off farms wherever he can. But a mangonel shot decides to go for the attack ground, and it doesn't quite pay off, but it'll be enough to force the armies back. As we have villagers now taking out the mangonels, and this castle goes up on the hill, so we've got 2 castles right next to each other, and we have plumed archers coming up. Such a perfect ranged unit that can really jump around the map and hit and run where possible. Of course, not quite to the degree as something as a cav archer or something like that, but still very, very valuable. And Miguel looks like he's just going to be saving up for another castle. If he can get a castle to protect this side of his base, that's going to be big, as these crossbows looping back around, and now will sneak in right next to these mangonels. And it's big loss right now for Miguel, as he's on the way up to the Imperial Age. They both are on their way up to the Imperial Age. And interestingly enough, we do see the Italian player going for barracks. So will we see condotieros? What will it be? We will only have to wait and see. These villagers, they did collect enough for a castle. That's a very gutsy castle to be going forward with, but with this many plumed archers, the right micro, they can take out the enemy fairly easily. But Miguel once again having to delete the castle foundation. Just saw great micro there from MbL. And I don't know if it'll be enough at this point in time. Anything that Miguel can do forward. The one thing that Miguel does have to his advantage though, even with his economy like this, he has more villagers working. Many more. He has 19 more villagers than the enemy. Only 6 idle at this point in time, as both of them will be in Castle Age very close to one another. Looking to get this one hit from the Mangonel. Could he do a 2-for-1 special? He almost does. Very, very weak Mangonel there. And that is a good move, as these villagers will now be going forward, dropping this castle. But this one knight, if it can actually see the enemy, it can do quite a bit of damage. Just a couple of eagles would be enough to take out this Mangonel and these crossbows, but not quite enough at this point in time, so won't be able to do that. But the plumes do come back, and as we see, he's not too worried because this castle finally goes up, and that'll be able to take out that knight, and now these villagers can collect the golds and the stones right there. Very good micro to get rid of that Mangonel. Of course, plumed archers are very fast, but still not an easy move to do. As we see Condotieros coming out. Good raiding units. Upgrades are coming in. Also, for the range units, we see bombard cannons, skirmishers. It's going to be a wide range of different types of units, and it'll be difficult for the Mayan player to really use the unit control that they do have, as we now will see bombard cannons out, taking out the castles forward, and with only plumed archers being made, it's difficult to make those plumes without the castles. So now a small batch of plumed archers going to be going forward, going to be trying to take out where possible, and we'll see if that pays off, as we see 2 bombard cannons already forward, deciding to attack the house rather than the castle, so not ideal. They'll get to the castle eventually, and the plumes not too bad against the Condotieros, as a matter of fact, but they're just such fast raiding units when it comes to infantry that it's difficult really for units such as plumed archers who are used to being outrunning their enemies. And this one crossbow actually doing a ton of damage. Just one lone crossbow. These 2 plumes could take it out no problem, but doesn't yet notice it with all the chaos going on around. Good job there to dodge the Mangonel shot, trying to take out these bombard cannons as quickly as possible, because the castles are necessary for the Mayan player at this point in time, as plumed archers are his main army composition. And he will be able to get in close to the bombards here. He takes 1 out, he takes 2 out. That is big. That is really big, and he does avoid the big shots as well, as there are units here, still has a little bit of a villager lead, but that lead is falling quickly. And now 16 idle villagers, they are tied for villager count, and now MbL takes the lead with the villagers. So both of these players doing a great job to balance out economy and military. Now is a big shot for the bombard cannons, as this castle will likely go down even with some repair villagers. Not sure if it'll be quite enough. These bombard cannons need to be taken out, and that's the only thing that the plumed archers are worried about right now, taking out those bombards. But look how many were lost in the meantime, as these plumes are standing over here having to engage against skirmishers. Never a good situation when you're engaging against skirmishers as an archer unit. And this one archer, that is single-handedly destroying the economy of Miguel. One crossbow sitting in the back, attacking this wood line. That is huge, and it is constant. Such a drain on the economy, just one crossbow. That seems so easy, but when the micro is happening the way it is up here, it is so hard to focus on something as simple as one crossbow. So it's a great move by MbL, and I don't blame Miguel at all for missing out on it because, well, look at all that is going on right now. As there are more skirmishers over here, a house being dropped here, likely just running away so that they could save the stone miners. And it's a pretty good number of plumed archers. Plumed archers, of course, being built so quickly that they are able to be masked very, very effectively, but I don't know if it'll be enough. These bombard cannons and skirmishers, I mean, that does basically counter the army of the Mayans, and there's not much that he can do to even engage against that army. The condotieros just being thrown up front, able to take some damage, able to do a little bit of raiding, not that important at this point in time, as a castle's being dropped by MbL, and I think this is pretty well it when it comes to Miguel. He now has a 20 villager deficit, and he is looking to switch his economy. He's making barracks. Of course, a few eagles would be very, very important right now, but not sure if it'll be enough, as a trebuchet is being created, but trebuchets will be able to be ranged by the bombard cannon so easily. Not sure what the barracks are going to be doing at this point in time for Miguel. I think that it is about time for the GG, as his main army is dying. He does only have 31 military as opposed to the 78 of the enemy. And just being pushed further and further into the corners, trying to engage where possible, but that army is such a difficult army for plumed archers to engage against, and Miguel sees it. Overall, great game. It shows just, you know, the power of good micro and great micro map control. MbL, in my opinion, was far behind at the beginning when he was dropping these walls. He didn't get as fast as a castle age as possible, but he got that map control. He was able to deny castles here, deny a castle here, and that changed the game.